Elizabeth here with this week's episode of AnimeCons TV. This week we're going to be talking about very important accessories to your sewing machine, which are presser feet. Now these are all my presser feet that I've accumulated over the years from various sewing machines. Most of these came standard with a number of sewing machines I've bought over the years, which include a Singer Advance, Brother SC400 and Brother CS6000i. So I just kind of throw them all in one container, so I'm not exactly sure which one came with what machine, but that actually doesn't matter because all of them work on on each other, and that's because the machines that I have are low shank and these just clip right into it. So there's a difference between low shank and high shank, and chances are if you use a domestic sewing machine that's kind of not super crazy expensive, it is a low shank. And the way you can tell is by where the screw is on your machine. I'm just going to drag this machine over real quick in the way, and you can see, there we go, here, this is where the screw is. It's pretty low, so this is a low shank. And the way you put the feet in is you lower the presser, clips right in, you hear a little snap, and it'll wiggle a little bit back and forth, that's fine, but it shouldn't come off. To release, you just lift up the little lever thingy in the back. So, you may need to follow your sewing machine's instructions for any specific things it might have with it. The machines always vary a little bit, so your feet might not go on and off that way. But anyway, so a lot of these I came with the machines. I purchased a couple of these separately, and we'll get to those later. This first is the standard foot, which is marked J. Oh, they're here. So these are the same. So some of them have letters. These have letters. These are J. These are the ones that come on the Brother machine. So these are from my two Brother machines. So this is probably going to be your standard foot as you're sewing because that's what comes on it. This is also called zigzag foot. So you use it while you're doing zigzag applique. Part of the reason for that is it has this clear section here, which allows you to see where you're going right up until it gets to where the needle comes in here. There's also little guidelines as well. So you can see these 3 grooves help you guide where you're going. So that's your standard foot, which is also zigzag foot. Pretty straightforward. Now one that I've bought, pretty sure I bought this. Maybe I stole it from my mom. This is a clear zigzag foot. As you can see, it's completely clear, so you can see exactly where you're going. It has a little notch in the middle, so you can line it right up with your needle if your needle's in the middle. I oftentimes find myself just keeping this on my machine. I really like it. Another one that's on my machine a lot that I like is this N foot. This is a monogram foot. This is designed to use for decorative stitches. Again, it has this clear opening here. This is something I use with that came with my Brother machines, I'm pretty sure. So I like this because it gives a nice clear opening of where I can see. It's nice and wide. So those are, actually this one too. So this is a Teflon foot. This I bought. This you should buy if you don't have one already. It probably does not come with your machine. So it's made of Teflon. If you know anything about Teflon, Teflon is non-stick. And where this comes into play is working with sticky fabrics, such as vinyls or PVCs and things like that, that otherwise would get stuck to metal, won't stick to this. And I know a lot of people who this is kind of their standard foot that they use whenever because the fabric does glide very, very nicely under it. So sometimes if I put this in for a reason, it might just stay there for a while as my normal presser foot. So in addition to a normal presser foot, another one you're going to use a lot is your zipper foot. These are my 2 zipper feet, and they're the same. So yours look slightly different depending on what your machine is and what comes with it. But the idea with the zipper foot is it goes very narrow. That way you can get really close to the teeth on the zipper so you can install a zipper correctly. Also, you can attach it on either side of this groove depending on what side of the zipper you're trying to get close to. And the needle goes into these little grooves here so you can get super close. Also, underneath, it's raised here so the excess from the zipper can go underneath and you don't have to worry about bulk. They also make an invisible zipper foot, which I do not have and I've never used. I heard it's great. One of these days I will get one. But apparently that makes putting invisible zippers very easy. I don't have any problem putting in invisible zippers with this foot, but if you want to give that a try, totally check that out. This is a blind hem foot. Usually if I want to do a hem that you don't see, I slip stitch mine by hand while watching movies. But this is adjustable to get the width that you want. But basically you would fold the fabric in the weird crazy way that you do for a blind hem, and you would use this foot to help you guide along. Maybe one day we'll do a demonstration of this issue, how it works. It's pretty cool, but I like the control of doing it by hand more, even though it takes like a million years. Alright, what else do we have? These are button feet. I've collected 3 of them somehow. These help you stitch on buttons. Stitching on buttons is a pain by hand sometimes, especially when you have a lot. Now this won't work with the buttons that like have the thing underneath. This works for buttons where you can actually like see the holes from the top. So what you do is you put this over the button and then it'll stitch going back and forth, and then you can adjust if it has 4 holes. I think some machines do 4 holes. The one I'm looking at right now, it's just my Singer, only does 2, so you would just do 2 and then the other 2. It's pretty cool. I haven't used this in a really long time, but if you have a million buttons to sew on that happen to have the holes that you can see from the front, that might help you out a lot. This is a walking foot, this crazy one you might be looking at. I have never used this. It's very common in quilting, because in quilting sometimes you can have a lot of layers, and this helps push things along a little easier when you have a lot of bulk and a lot of stuff going on. I have never used one. It looks kind of scary. I'm sure it's probably fine, but yeah, this is really something that really helps quilters, which I am not. This is there's a couple names for this. This is a embroidery foot, so I'm guessing one of these came from my brother SE400, which is an embroidery machine. But you can use this otherwise to do like free hand embroidery. So you would, well, not hand because you do it by machine, but you would just do free embroidery, push it along as you want to get kind of the design that you want. So I have this one, and then I think this came from my other brother. These crazy contraptions are buttonhole foots. These are pretty cool. So what you do is you take the button you want to use and you put it in this here, and you make sure it's nice and tight. And this will kind of give your machine and the foot an idea of how big your button is. And then what you do is there's a little part of your machine up here that you pull down. It goes in between here. And then what you do is you just put your foot down on the pedal and it goes up and down, doing a very nice satin stitch to create your buttonhole with the little slit in the middle. And then you just very carefully open the slit with scissors or a seam ripper, and then you have your buttonhole, so then you don't have to do your buttonholes manually or by hand. So these are really cool. Definitely get one of those but your machine probably could have come with one. One thing to keep in mind, if you're using these, do a practice run first before you do one on your costume. That way you don't have to worry about if it messes up, because you don't want to mess up on your costume. They're not fun to take out. What else do I have here? This is a narrow hem foot. These are really cool. I bought this. So what you do is it creates like a narrow hem of about 1/4 of an inch, and you fold your fabric and it goes through this little doodad in the middle, and it creates a double fold, narrow double fold for you to then sew over. It's kind of finicky and takes some practice to get used to. Also, it's not great on curves. It's much better on straight lines, but this is really great if you're hemming like a sheer fabric or a thinner fabric. Definitely, I would pick one of these up. These are pretty cool. Just put some practice in with some scrap fabric. These two, so both ours, are also blind hem foots. They just work a little differently. This one originally came with my Singer. These two are brother blind hem foots, so they're used slightly differently. And there should be a guide in your sewing machine manual to show you how to use them. So maybe one day I'll create a video on the different ways to use those blind hem foots, because those are pretty cool and very helpful. This is an overcast foot. I've actually never used one of these because I have a serger, but if you don't have a serger, you can use this to do a stitch on the edge of your fabric that'll help keep your fabric from fraying and finish the edge. So you may not necessarily need a serger. You might be able to get away with using just one of these. So I have a couple of those. This is a quilting foot guide, which I don't use. I don't like how it has just a small little thing. But what's cool about this is it has these 3 little notches that you can use as a guide. So this is very helpful with quilters, because sometimes they have very tiny seam allowances, or they really want to follow things precisely. So this is a quilting foot. This one here, which I think is the last one, is a cording foot. I have no idea where I got this, because it's not in any of my books for my machines. I probably stole it from my mom. So this is used to put on cording. You see there are 3 little like slots here. This is 3. You can get ones that are 5. You can get ones that are 7. What this does is it helps guide like cord, yarn, embroidery floss, things that you want to stitch onto something, and keeps it straight as it goes through the foot. So this is really cool if you're adding on any embellishments that you need to stitch on. This will help keep them straight and where you want to go. So those are the sewing feet that I have that are pretty much what I need. There are a couple other ones. I do have this one here. This is a ruffler foot. It's broken. But when this was working, it's pretty cool. You use it to do ruffles, and if you need to do a lot of ruffles, definitely invest in one of these and try it out. It's a little scary to work with. It looks like it may be a medieval torture device, but it can definitely help you out, and I should really get that one replaced. There's also a gathering foot. A gathering foot helps to gather your fabric while you're using it, which can be pretty darn helpful. There are also dozens of other feet that you can use, but if you want like a good core group of sewing feet, what comes with your machine is really almost all you need. You can definitely get away with it. What I would add are just the narrow foot, so you can see it, the narrow foot and the Teflon foot, especially if you're using fabrics that like to stick together. You can get these pretty cheap on Amazon, like $5 each. I don't remember what I paid, not a lot. You'll also see these big collections of feet on Amazon. I mean, if you want to try them out, a lot of them are going to be redundant of what you already have, and the quality is a little hit or miss. But what comes with your machine is pretty much what you'll need. You can be like me and steal stuff from your mom. But let us know what you like to use for presser feet on your machine. What's your go-to? What can you not live without? What's a cool foot that you found that you like to use a lot and impress your friends with? So if you have any suggestions for other upcoming cosplay episodes or other episodes, please let us know. We would love to hear your ideas and put them to use to help you. And until next time, we will talk to you later. Bye, guys.